Once upon a time, in a small town surrounded by dense forests, there lived a young boy named Jack. Jack had always been a shy and introverted child, but things took a dark turn when he was diagnosed with clinical depression. Despite the support of his family and friends, he found it increasingly difficult to cope with his emotions and eventually decided to run away from home. As he wandered deeper into the woods, Jack felt a sense of peace he had not felt in a long time. He found comfort in the quiet of the forest and the absence of the stress and anxiety that had plagued him for so long. For a while, he thought that he had finally found a way to escape his problems. However, things took a dark turn when Jack stumbled upon an old abandoned cabin deep in the woods. The cabin was in a state of disrepair, with broken windows and a rotting roof. But something about the place called to Jack, and he found himself drawn to it. As he entered the cabin, Jack was hit by a musty smell that made him cough. But he ignored it and continued to explore the cabin. Suddenly, he heard a rustling sound coming from the corner of the room. He turned to look and saw a pair of glowing eyes staring at him from the shadows. Fear gripped Jack's heart as the creature emerged from the darkness. It was a large, twisted monster, with gnarled claws and a mouth full of razor-sharp teeth. It snarled and lunged towards Jack, who stumbled backward and fell to the ground. The creature seemed to be toying with him, circling around him, its eyes fixed on his face. Jack was terrified, but he knew that he had to fight back if he wanted to survive. He scrambled to his feet and grabbed a broken piece of wood, holding it up in front of him like a makeshift weapon. The creature snarled again and leapt towards him, but this time Jack was ready. He swung the piece of wood with all his might, hitting the creature square in the face. It let out a blood-curdling scream and stumbled backwards, giving Jack the opportunity to run out of the cabin and back into the woods. For hours, Jack ran through the forest, his heart pounding in his chest. He was sure that the creature was chasing him, but he couldn't hear its footsteps anymore. Eventually, he collapsed on the forest floor, his legs and lungs burning. As he lay there gasping for breath, Jack felt a strange sensation washing over him. It was like a warmth spreading through his body, easing the pain and the fear. It was then that he saw a figure approaching him from the shadows. At first, he was too weak to make out who it was, but as the figure came closer, he realized that it was his mother. She had been searching for him since he ran away, and had finally found him in the woods. Jack collapsed into her arms, sobbing uncontrollably. His mother held him close, whispering soothing words into his ear. As she did, the warmth that had been spreading through his body grew stronger, and Jack felt a sense of peace that he had never experienced before. Over the coming weeks and months, Jack slowly recovered from his depression. He worked closely with his therapist and began to open up to his family and friends about his struggles. They supported him every step of the way, and he slowly started to see that there was a light at the end of the tunnel. And as for the creature that had attacked him in the woods, Jack realized that it was a manifestation of his own fears and anxieties. By facing it head-on, he had gained the strength to overcome his depression and move forward with his life with a new twist in the story. However, as time passed, Jack began to notice strange things happening around him. He would catch glimpses of the creature in his peripheral vision and would hear strange noises coming from the woods at night. He tried to ignore it, thinking that it was just his imagination playing tricks on him. But then, one night, the creature returned. It burst through the door of his house, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Jack froze in terror as it advanced towards him, its claws glinting in the moonlight. As the creature was about to strike, a burst of light shot out from Jack's hands, hitting the creature square in the chest. It let out a howl of pain and retreated, disappearing into the night. Shaken but unharmed, Jack realized that he had developed some sort of power, something that had allowed him to fight back against the creature. He began to research his condition and discovered that he was part of a group of people known as psychics, individuals with extraordinary abilities that were often feared and persecuted by society. With the help of a mentor, Jack learned to harness his powers, honing his abilities and learning to control them. He became part of a community of psychics, a place where he finally felt like he belonged. As he continued to grow stronger, Jack realized that his encounter with the creature in the woods had been a turning point in his life. It had been a wake-up call, a sign that he needed to confront his fears and learn to stand up for himself. And he had done just that, emerging stronger and more powerful than ever before. As he looked back on his journey, Jack realized that he had come a long way from the scared and depressed boy he had once been. He had faced his demons head-on and had emerged victorious, and he knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, he would be ready to face them, armed with the strength and courage that he had gained from his experiences. Years passed, and Jack became a respected member of the psychic community. He had learned to control his abilities and had even discovered new ones along the way. He was now able to communicate with the dead, a skill that had proven to be both useful and unsettling. Despite his success, however, Jack never forgot his past. He knew that he had been lucky to escape the creature in the woods, and he couldn't help but wonder if others had been so fortunate. So he decided to investigate. He traveled back to the woods where he had first encountered the creature, hoping to find some clues about its origin and purpose. What he found was both shocking and terrifying. Deep in the woods, Jack discovered a hidden cave system, one that seemed to have been created by the creature itself. As he explored deeper, he found evidence of other people who had been attacked by the creature over the years. He realized that he was dealing with something much more sinister than he had ever imagined. Determined to put an end to the creature's reign of terror, Jack assembled a team of psychics and set out to confront it once and for all. The battle was fierce, but in the end, they were able to defeat the creature and seal the cave system forever. As the team emerged from the woods, battered and bruised but victorious, Jack couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. He had faced his fears and overcome them, and in doing so, he had helped to make the world a safer place. Years later, as he sat in his cozy cabin in the woods, surrounded by the people he loved and the memories of his past, Jack knew that he had finally found his place in the world. And he knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, he would always be ready to face them head-on, armed with the knowledge and strength that he had gained from his experiences.